Paleblu on Reprezent.
So, once again, you are locked into the sounds of Paleblu on Reprezent Radio 107.3 FM. It is an absolute pleasure to introduce the next guest. Right now, he goes by the name Ray Keith, previously gone by the name Renegade, Terrorist, and more. He's the honcho of Dread Recordings. Joining me in the studio right now is jungle legend that is Ray Keith. Ray, it's an honour to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, young man. Thanks for inviting me up.
It's amazing to have you here, man. It's, this is going to be an education.
Big shout out to my former boss at Radar, Gavin, because I think he was here in the early days of Represent. So big shout out to him.
Yeah.
Gavin D.
Big ones. So let's get straight into it, man. So obviously you have come from Essex. Are you still living out in Essex?
Yeah, I'm still living out in Essex. I like being in the countryside, bro.
Yeah.
I was in London for a long time, but it's just nice to be out of town, breathing some nice air. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's go all the way back then to the start of your journey. This is why I normally start my interviews with people, because a lot of people kind of think as drum and bass is quite a contemporary kind of art or genre of music. And it's not really that, man. We've been going about 30 odd years now, before I was even born. So what was your first kind of memory of D&B and jungle, even?
Well, for the younger listeners who don't really know the story, we were the pioneers of that sound. And you're talking in the late 80s, early 90s, being influenced, going to Rage with Fabio and Groove Rider, and then playing our tunes. Obviously, even, a guy called Gerald making 27 Gun Bad Boy, and then all the rest of us starting to delve into making music. And in those days, it was like hardcore jungle. So we came from the whole 88, 89 house. But pre that, if we go back, it was disco, it was rare groove, it was jazz, it was hip hop.
Yeah.
Then we went through that whole Stock Aitken and Waterman commercial side of things. And then, 88, 89, Acid House came along. We'd already been through the hip hop thing. And most of us were established DJs then, playing soul, rare groove, hip hop and house. Well, that was kind of the natural progression. And then the 90s came along, samplers came along, so you didn't have to go to a studio. You could make the music. Thank God for Akai, and thank God for the Atari ST1040.
Yeah, man.
Otherwise, we'd all be mashed up right now, and it'd be all a bit Pete Tong. But we just took that, and the main labels at the time, Suburban Bass, Ibiza Records, Reinforced Records, Moving Shadow Records. They were a few of the labels that started to act like mini majors. Do you know what I mean? And were putting out loads of volumes of records. And that's pretty much how it started. And really, it started as a dream because we kind of fell into it. Yeah. It was a natural progression. We were playing 4 to the floor. If you listen to some of my early mixes like Shades of Rhythm, and there was the 4 to the floor. If you listen to You Got Me Burning Up with Nookie, that's got the last end of it. We had some amazing nights, like Laserdrome, like Laserdrome, AWOL. These were nights that kind of subliminally built jungle drum and bass.
Yeah.
And then it was just massive.
It exploded from there, right?
Yeah, it exploded from there, and influencing the likes of, I've spoken to Dizzy and Wiley and Mala.
Yeah.
And these are the guys who are now at the forefront of electronic music.
Yeah.
And their influences were from us on our tape packs. I mean, we didn't even have fucking the internet then.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, we had big mobile phones.
We're live on FM radio.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Apologies to anyone listening for the language.
If you're offended.
But it's not that offensive, but Ofcom and that. But no, you got your point across.
Yeah, it's and it was a major changing point in dance music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you had the majors and then you had us.
Yeah.
And we were like running white labels off the street.
Yeah. There's a very much DIY kind of business culture. It's very like kind of punk in that sense, I feel, with early drum and bass.
Without a doubt. And I think also what you've got to remember is it was a lifestyle. It was a culture. You know, just like reggae is, just like if you're a mod or if you're a punk, it came along. And what you got to remember is, I know in England a lot of people like to shoot people down really quickly, but this is British.
Yeah.
It's not
as British as it gets. Yeah.
It's not hip hop. The hip hop is the Americans.
Yeah, it's their
House
thing.
is Europe and the US as well.
That's it.
And we have jungle drum and bass. And from that you have garage.
Grime.
From that
dubstep.
you have grime, dubstep. It's the mother.
Yeah.
Of all mothers, because
it's the mother kind of tree that just like tended to all these new genres that came about. It was that form, and it's the 90s as well. I feel like it played a pivotal role. The kind
it was oppression. It was a lot of things were going on. The Gulf War was going on. And people wanted to make something of themselves. And we did. And it was also something that was feeding itself. So you had the dub plates being cut, you had records being pressed, you had record shops playing, you had MA2 jackets, you had the raves going on, you had tickets being sold, you had tape packs. So there was a lot of people
throwing ecstasy in the works as well.
Well, yes, of course. I mean that drugs has been part of the music scene.
Any revolution,
any revolution. It just depends on where you were at the time. 88, 89 was. If you went to the Astoria, everyone was off their nut. But that was just how they expressed themselves.
Absolutely,
And it's like, you want to run away from your problems, and then suddenly this music came along, and it became daytime and night, and night. Everybody was playing it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It took the world by storm. So I'm really proud and happy to be part of it. There's a lot of people that have made the scene what it is today, and it keeps getting handed down to the next generation. Yeah,
which is a brilliant thing to touch on. I'm going to touch on that now. I was going to ask another question. I'll save it for later. But you talk about handing down to the other generation, and obviously with Dread. When did you start Dread? Actually, that was.
Well, there's a good friend of mine called Phil from Basement Records.
Yeah.
And he used to run and help run a couple of distribution companies. And really, it was 1993. That we came up with the idea, and then we started to release material in 1994.
Nice.
So it was nuts, and it was just because I was doing a lot of remixes.
Yeah.
And then I thought, hang on a minute, I need to try and put out my own stuff and other people's stuff. So
that was very much at the time, the end of the 80s and 90s. Remixing was a thing, and re-editing was, there was a surge of that because people were getting into that and cutting tape and chopping it up, and that was a thing. So.
Well, there was a lot of remixes internally in our scene, and I had
which you're a big part of as well. Don't get it twisted.
It was nice to just play around with other people's music, and I suppose that's how I kind of made my name through remixes and production. And I'd always been DJing, but it was just something that I kind of fell into, and I loved. You know what I mean? I still love it today. I'm engineering now, so. Hence the album and me putting this new album together. But it's been an incredible journey. I've met some amazing people. We've lost a lot of amazing people, producers. But we keep fighting the fight, and we keep it real. You know what I mean? Underground, cutting edge. That's what we're about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's incredible to think about. The long way that it's come, and your journey as well, because a couple of the tracks you made are absolute classics. Let's not get it twisted.
Thank you.
If you're not,
I'd like to big up my peers as well. We come up all together. Obviously Fabio and Groove Rider paving the way, but with the likes of Jumping Jack Frost, Brian G, Mickey Finn, Darren J, LTJ Bookham, Kenny Ken, Randall, and all the MCs at the time. It was. I've grown up with these guys. It's like 30 years strong. Do you know what I mean? And to be with that amount of people, but let's not forget who put us there. The early DJs like Colin Dale, Colin Hudd, Trevor Fung, Mr. C, Evil Eddie Richards, Cole Cox. These are just a few. Paul Oakenfold. these are the guys that we used to follow and go
Yeah.
and listen to at Heaven. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And take it all in.
Yeah.
And then we built our careers off of the back of that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's very much kind of techno influenced kind of sound as well. You know, jungle techno.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
call it.
that a lot of it comes from the rave days.
Yeah.
If you listen to, you know, even stuff on Paul Ibiza's label, you know, the whole jungle techno thing, you'll hear influences from those records. We took those sounds and then messed about with them with the breakbeats. Also, people like Potential Bad Boy in the early days, like miles ahead of anyone else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like some ghetto jungle from back in the day,
That's it,
third
man.
party. You know, all of these cats that were around in the early days. It was amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Gonna ask one more question, you know, kind of personal question about your background, your family. You know, were you from a musical family? Because, you know, I read actually that your nephew is Joy Orbison, right?
Yeah. So that's
so is it something that runs in the
of
in the
course.
blood,
I mean,
or?
my dad used to play guitar,
Yeah.
and used to have a few drinks and get the boys round, and
Yes.
they'd be singing Sega music. My family's from Mauritius.
Nice.
My grandmother used to play the accordion.
Wow.
Which is a bit crazy.
Yeah.
But they used to be like, you know, tapping on the bottles, and she used to play the accordion, and I was like, wow. And then I started to play the drums when I was at school.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's always kind of been in my family.
Yeah.
But my family was more academic, so I
Sure.
was kind of the black sheep of the
Yeah.
family. But when my dad saw what I was doing and thought, yeah, he's kind of making it, then I kind of got the seal of approval. Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
But yeah, the early days weren't that great.
Nah.
I had to sneak out. I used to have to jump out of my bedroom window
Yeah.
onto the top of the porch roof, then jump from there onto the grass, right?
It's a lot of jumping, man.
A whole heap of jumping, and that was going to bed with my clothes on and then putting my pajamas on top because
Yeah.
they'd come and check,
Hey,
and
yeah.
then I'd go and run to a place called the Embassy Suite,
Yeah.
where I used to see one of my mates, Dave Malone, play, and all these other soul DJs, and then because originally I was a dancer, that was my
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man can cut some shape in the early days.
I
And-
don't doubt that at all, bro. Like,
No, but most of us can,
Yeah,
because that's
yeah.
where we.
It's where you get it from. It's that innate inner kind of
yeah,
vibe,
that was.
yeah.
Listen, just because we're behind the decks, don't mean we want to dance.
Nah.
We don't want to dance
Yeah.
as well.
We just do it to look cool, man.
Well, not. I don't know about looking cool, but
That was sarcastic.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? We all come from a musical background,
Sure.
whether we was dancers, whether we was on sound systems,
Yeah.
whether we was MCs, whether we were just selectors, whatever it was, and that's ingrained in us.
Yeah. It's funny you talk about sneaking out because I can so relate to that. It's like my entry point to drum and bass was sneaking out at Squat Race 15, just jumping on the mic and just going nuts basically, and
Actually,
having
the
to
first
sneak
time
back
I
in.
saw you, it was over in the summer, and that
Yeah.
party was really good.
Yeah.
And you were DJing and you were MCing.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I said to Elle, this brother's on fire. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, respect for that, man.
No.
I'm supposed to be praising you now.
No, but like I said, it's
likewise,
all
yeah.
about the next generation.
Yeah,
and if
man.
you got to bring people through, and otherwise we don't go anywhere.
That's
Do you know
it,
what I
man.
mean?
Yeah.
So this is a really big part of it growing, of the scene keeping itself growing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that make you stand out from, you know, a lot of other producers that have, you know, come from the origins of drum and bass and jungle is you're very much about pushing new talent. You know, James Japper is someone that you push quite a lot. Lupo, L as well, all wicked producers. And it's a bit of an ongoing dispute because there's a lot of people that just want to stick to the whole kind of origins of the scene and stuff like that and just retain that. But there's other people like you who are pushing new talent and understanding the new generations and adapting. And
I think for any DJ that's on road now,
yeah,
we're all the same,
Yeah.
because we appreciate that, like, it's not about us, and we're still in the game,
Yeah.
and we can open them doors, and I think it's really important. And I think one of the things was, I'm not going to mention any names, but I went to a record shop one day, and the geezer was really like off negative, didn't sort me out. And I just thought, you know what? And that's why when I went to Black Market, that's why we were so successful. And City Sounds is we treated everybody with respect. Yeah. And also we said to people, keep your mind open. Try, I used to give people piles of records and say, if you don't like anything, bring it back. Yeah. And I think that's our job. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. I think knowledge is wisdom. Absolutely. And I think if you don't share what you have, there may be people trying to hang on to what they're trying to do, but that doesn't last for long. Yeah. Because you've got to be able to change with the times. I mean, look where we've come from: reel to dat tape. Before that we were looking at 8-track, cartridges, cassettes. Then we went to CD. Then we went to like CDJs, USB, and now you can play music off your phone. Yeah, it's just nuts. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It is mad how so much has changed over such a short period of time. It's I always think of it as that kind of bittersweet kind of thing, oxymoronic in a sense, where it's like it's connected us so much, but it's also divided us. But let's move on. Let me not get too political, because this is all about the music, and we're here actually about your brand new album. Thank you very much. Which I've listened to over the past few days. Got to say, it is something, man. And what's great about it is you're singing on it as well, which is like well, I've been to acting. Listen, before I got into music, I wanted to go down the kind of I knew it. Route. That's why we get. That's exactly the same as me, bro. I used to be in musical theatre, as well. So so it kind of came back late to me. Yeah. And then basically I did some stage work on with theatre and singing live, because that's when you're properly exposed. A cappella or piano. Yeah. And then a couple of people said to me, actually, you know what, you sound all right. Yeah. And I was like, and I think if you make yourself uncomfortable as a producer, and as a DJ, you're supposed to put your neck on the line. Yeah. You're supposed to break new music. And it's all about looking out for the next sound, and the underground, it always changes. Yeah. So it's been able to adapt. So it was just a natural kind of progression for me. Absolutely. And I'm from a soul background. There's a soul tune I did with my friend Nathan Thomas on there. There's a house tune I did as well with him. I worked with Floyd Dice from, if you remember, Baby D. Let Me Be Your Fantasy. And then there was another guy called Soundman, Ragga Antonio. I've done a track with him as well. He had one of the number ones with Elizabeth Troy. Nice. So it was just, and also it's like, even though it's a 30-track album, probably 5 or 6 of those tunes have been around for the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years, which I didn't feel was right to put out. Yeah. But I feel now it's like a personal album. Now, and the prophecy's like, it's kind of an end of a chapter and a beginning of a new one. We're in 2020, which is like a new decade. Yeah. We're into the millennium, and I just thought it would be a great way to celebrate that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And of course, like some people might like it, some people don't. But I think it's all about painting different colours on canvases. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I've got to say, personal favourite is the track with DRS. Bad tune. Yeah. Big up DRS. It is. And that was like, that's, if you want, I tried to do something for everyone on the album. Yeah. So some of it's a little bit experimental, some of it's like easily listening, and some of it's for, obviously our fans, is we pioneered some of those sounds. Sure. And DRS is a celebration. I was super gassed when he was like, I want to work, like, let's, cool, let's do something. And then when he done the vocals, I knew straight away it was a banger. Do you know what I mean? So it's a big project, and I can see you spent a lot of time on it. I'm going to do a couple speedy questions, and then we're going to go into one of your tracks, which is Defcon 19. Okay. And then after that, we're going to go straight in with your guest mix. Really excited. Thank you. Couple of questions for you now. Don't feel like you're going to be judged. I asked all my guests these kind of questions. So, first of all, I'm going to go with Massive or Serum. I'd go with Massive, because Massive's been around for a lot longer than Serum has, and maybe Serum is the sound of the youngsters today. Yeah. But I think Massive was one of the first things that came along that people adapted and used, and has been around for a good 4 or 5 years, right? Yeah. So I'll go with Massive. Cool. Next question.
slightly opinionated. Maybe an obvious answer for some. Metalheads or Dispatch?
I gotta go with heads in
Yeah,
it. Do you know
you
what I
have
mean?
to. Sorry to anti-C1 of Dispatch. It's,
Yeah.
I like to put people on the spot, and sometimes I get the answer, sometimes I don't. This time I did. Next question. Chase or Status?
I can't choose.
Yeah. You can pass if you want.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Pass, cool, no problem. No problem. Okay, CDJs or vinyl?
Vinyl all day long.
Wicked. Last question. Choose your answer carefully. Drums or bass?
Well, I'm an old school hip hop boy, and you see how many breaks we brought to the scene. So the bass always follows, because you can't make bass without breaks. So it's breaks all day long.
That's very true.
Yeah. If you're gonna make a tune, you're always gonna start with the breaks.
Are you saying drums then?
I'm saying drums all day long.
It was in fact a trick question, Ray. Drums and bass. Always. See, drum and...
Well, for me, I always start with the drums to vibe. So, yeah, that would be me.
You're entitled to your opinion, but,
Thank
you know, there's a universal opinion that drum and...
So where's jungle in all that then?
Oh,
yeah.
You
need to
do you know what?
You need to
do you know what?
reconstruct that question.
Do you know what?
Without jungle, there's no drum and bass, bro.
I forfeit. Ray Keith has won the speed round for the first time in history. I've been on Reprezent for 3 years now. Ray Keith has just won. He's just put me to bed.
Thank you very much.
Ray Keith, Renegade, Terrorist. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thanks very much for getting me down, and big up all the listeners right now, and thanks for the love and support. And I'll see you on the dance floor
where
somewhere.
can we catch your album?
So the album, the CD will be ready. Actually, I think they're dispatching the CD next week.
Nice.
So we're going to have 500 on our website, which I'm going to sign, and then 500 on road through all the normal HMV or wherever you buy your records from. And then we've got a sampler, which is out now. That came out in December. That was You're My Angel.
Nice.
So that's out. Yeah, that's out at the moment to promote the album. So yeah, I think we're looking second or third week of Feb. You'll see the CDs, and then the digital will be at the end of the month. We always like to leave a couple of weeks to let the CD sell through.
Yeah.
So it's a limited edition. We've got 1,000 CDs, and we're looking forward to that.
Yeah. So once again, this is Paleblu on Reprezent Radio. Got Ray Keith joining me now. This track playing right now is Defcon 19. We're going to let this one play out. I'm going to go straight into a Ray Keith guest mix. Big up to everyone that's listening right now. You can catch The Prophecy out very soon. You can catch the physical formats available for pre-order now via Dread Recordings. Paleblu on Reprezent Radio. Let's get into this. Thank you very much, Ray Keith.
Peace. Thank you very much.
Paleblu on Reprezent.
to those who have just got locked in, Ray Keith, aka the Terrorist, aka the Renegade, live in the mix on Reprezent Radio. Keep it locked.
Everything we have to say. Everything we have to say. Everything, everything, everything.
Don't you know?
Explode, drop so hard, make me have to reload. Nice and slow, eyes wide closed. No, say you love it when I take control. Control. Trip so hard, make me have to reload. Got the sauce. Drip. Sauce. Drip. Hey, pretty girl. Know you look nice. Back like that. Me man have to look twice. Take control. Control. Love it when I take control. Control. Love it when I take control. Control. Love it when I take control. Control. Control.
Angels in heaven, you never seen evil so singularly personified as you did in the face of the men who killed you.
Don't even play that tune yet. But still massive. Please, listen up.
If you've just locked in, sounds of Ray Keith, the Renegade in the mix. My name is Paleblu. You can catch me here every first Wednesday of the month, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Large up to the Reprezent family, 3 years in the game. That's me. Represent a lot longer in the game. Big ups to everyone listening on a Wednesday night, drum and bass jungle madness.
wish I could feel it all for you. I do it all for you. I would, 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 I would.
Last 5 minutes from Ray Keith. Let's go nuts, people.
I wish I could feel it.